Hello, what's up guys? Welcome back to this session. We're going to be looking at the pairs we will be trading for the week. Today is Sunday, so we're going to be doing weekly analysis, what we will be looking at for and what we should be expecting during the coming week. Alright, so I'm going to be starting off with the pairs I have on my list right here. So first off, this is Ethereum, ETH USDT. So let's start from the daily time frame to see what's going on. Alright, so on the daily time frame, if we should look closely, we can see that market is currently bouncing from an order block on the daily time frame. Market is bouncing from an order block on the daily time frame. And also, if we look on the daily time frame closely, you can clearly see that on the daily time frame, market is starting to look bearish. Market has started to start creating higher highs and it has started to look bearish. Alright, so what are we looking out for? We are looking out for buys. Alright, so let's come down to the 4-hour time frame. So on the 4-hour time frame, what are we expecting when we come to the 4-hour time frame? Clearly we can see that on the 4-hour time frame, we have this BOS right here. We have this BOS. We have this BOS right here, and market has already tapped on this zone right here and started to create something. So this is our initial target that we are looking forward for market to take out before we look out for another positions. But if we look closely, we can see that we have other blocks right here. This was the other block that we took last week that failed, and when we look here, we have some support area here that is holding this point. You can see market has reacted from it. But when we come down closely, we can see we have a fair value gap, and market is trying to use all of this as liquidity. Market is using all of this as liquidity, and when you look closely, market has already taken it out. Alright, market took it out. If you look right here, and it's reacting from it. It's reacting, and now market is coming down, so we are expecting market to bounce from here and then we can buy. Alright, we are expecting market to bounce from here before we can buy. Alright, so this is Ethereum, and this is what we are expecting on Ethereum. We are expecting a buy on Ethereum, so we are expecting market to come down to this zone, then potentially buy up to this zone. Alright, so this is what we are expecting on Ethereum. So let's look at BTC. BTC, we are also expecting some push downward. Alright, so let's start from the daily time frame. When we look at the daily time frame, also we can clearly see that this pair has been moving up. Alright, this pair has been going up. Immediately market bounced off the daily demand zone, it started moving up. So let's come down to the 4 hours so we get it clearly. So when we come down to the 4 hour, clearly we can see we have this push to the downside. We have this push right here. We have this push to the downside. We have this push. We have this. Market has started to create that higher highs and higher lows. And when we look right here, this was another block that market tapped on, and it has fair value gap on it. You can clearly see right here, this was the zone that market bounced from. Alright, so we are expecting market to take out this high, and we have this break of structure right here. We have this break of structure. We have this break of structure. Alright, but when we look closely, we can see we have let me take this out. All of these are partial entries. So we have another block right here, and we used it. Market failed to push from that other block, and when we look below here, we can also see there is a support area at this point. But if we are entering here, it's going to be temporary, because we are expecting market to either bounce from this point right here. Market to either bounce from this point. We are expecting market to bounce from this point right here, or market should come down to this zone before buying. Alright, so this is what we are expecting on BTC. Alright, this is what we are expecting. And if you're wondering this zone I got it on the 15-minute time frame. I even entered late. Alright, so this is what I'm expecting. I'm still expecting a retracement back to this zone before potentially buying up to the upside. Alright, so let's look at our next pair. Our next pair on the list is US30. When we look at US30 from the daily time frame, US30 from the daily time frame has been on an uptrend, but when we look closely, we can see there is a resistance up at this point. You can see that whenever market gets to that point, it started reversing. When market gets to that point, it reverses, and we can see we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 touches. So let's come down to the 4 hour. Also, when we look at the 4 hour time frame, we can clearly see that this is an uptrend. This is an uptrend right here. This is an uptrend right here. You can clearly see that. Alright, so on the 4 hour time frame, we are working with what? We're working with confirmation. Alright, since we know that this is a resistance zone, on the 4 hour time frame, you can clearly see that we have this fair value gap right here. We have this fair value gap, but market tapped on it and reacted, but when we look at it, it's still coming down. So let's come down to the 1 hour time frame. Now on the 1 hour time frame, you can clearly see that this was the first zone. This is the first zone. This is the first zone right here. But when we look at this point right here, when we look at this point, clearly you can see that if we are to mark our inducement, this is our inducement right here. This is our inducement right here. This is our inducement, and this should be our entry, right? This should be our entry. So during the week we are expecting US30 to bounce from this point, or market should break it and bounce from this point right here. Alright, so this is what we are expecting on US30. Let's check on NAS 100. NAS 100, I'm expecting same thing. So let's start from the daily time frame so we will get the concept. So on the daily time frame, we can clearly see that NAS 100 is on a buying momentum. But also when we look closely, we can see that there are some resistance right here. And you can see that anytime market comes to that place, it bounces off. Anytime market gets there, it bounces off. So right now, let's come down to the 4 hour time frame. When we come to the 4 hour time frame, we can clearly see that market is bouncing off on a daily key level right here. Market is bouncing off on a daily key level. So what are we now looking at for? Let's come down to the 1 hour time frame. Now if we come to the 1 hour time frame, knowing fully well that we are on a bullish momentum, now when you look at it, we have this break of structure, or you can call it change of character right here, which is change in market direction, right? And we have this break of structure right here. We have this break of structure right here. We also have this break of structure right here. We have this break of structure right here also. Right here we have this break of structure. And we also have this break of structure right here. So now when we look at it closely, you can clearly see that the market is moving in an uptrend. Alright, but when we look at it, you can see we have a partial order block right here, but we are not going to make use of this order block. When you also look at it, you can see we also have an order block below right here. Alright, so we have 3 order blocks right here. So this first one is going to be a 50-50 order block. So what we are expecting on the coming week, we expect US 100 to bounce from here, or it should come down to this point. It should break this point right here. it should break this point and then come to this point, or rather it should come down to this point before buying. So we have 3 zones on US 100, so we're going to look out for which one is going to work. But this is my expectancy. I'm expecting this pair US 100 to come all the way down to this zone before buying. Alright, that is what I'm expecting on NAS 100. So let's look out on gold. Let's look out on gold and see what we've got. Alright, if you notice, gold has been on a bullish momentum. It has been on a bullish momentum for the past almost 6 months or so. Gold has been on a bullish momentum. If you look right here, it has just been buying. Alright, so now let's come down to the daily time frame to get our buyers. Alright, if you come to the daily time frame, you can clearly see that. If you come to the daily time frame, you can clearly see that we have this break of structure, and when we are to mark this, we have this other block right here. We have this fair value gap. So let's come down to the 4-hour time frame and see what we've got. Alright, on the 4-hour time frame, you can see this was the fair value gap we got from the daily time frame. Alright, so when we come down to the 4-hour time frame, what can we see? On the 4-hour time frame, we can also see the 4-hour demand zone right here. So this is the daily fair value gap. So let's come down to the 1-hour time frame. Now if we come down to the 1-hour time frame, let's refine the daily zone. Alright, so if we come down to the 1-hour time frame, we can clearly see that this was the trade we took last week, but it stopped us out and still went to our direction. You can see right there, it stopped us out and still went to our direction, which is fine, no problem. So on the coming weeks, we are expecting gold to come down to this zone and bounce off, or gold should come down to this zone and bounce off. I'm having 3 zones right here, or it should come down to this zone right here, this other block right here, and bounce off. So this is what we should be expecting. So let's come down to the 30-minute time frame. So I'm not really expecting so much on the 30-minute time frame. So on gold, this is what we are having. Alright, this is our expectancy. Let's check on silver, because these are my current pairs. Alright, silver is also on a bullish momentum. Alright, if you look right here, you can see that momentum is pushing up with high momentum. So on the 1 hour, I'm not seeing anything right here, except we should be expecting silver to fall down to this zone. But we're going to wait to see when price opens, how the market is going to react. Alright, this is my bias on all of these pairs I have analyzed. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Subscribe so you won't miss out on any of our weekly analysis. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next weekly analysis.